Welcome to Lesson 2-9 Vocabulary from Signing Naturally curriculum. We've got a few signs to cover here today, and they're great ones. So the first one is favorite. If you remember that hand shape from excited, it's that same hand shape only with one hand for favorite, your dominant hand, and you're just going to tap your chin. That's favorite. It's also the sign for prefer. All right, favorite. The next sign is pay attention. So you want, it's not really B hand shapes, it's just sort of, it's like a flat hand shape with your thumb out of the way, is really what it is, okay? So you bring both of your hands, so you want both hands, palms facing each other, and they're gonna come right next to your face. Pay attention, pay attention. I think of like horse blinders that, you know, you put on horses so that they will only look straight ahead and not get distracted by other things. Pay attention. Not or don't. This is a sign that will negate anything. So you can use it for like unhappy or something like that. There are those special ones that have the negative incorporation from French Sign Language that we talked about before, like don't like and don't want. But otherwise, you can use not or don't. So it's just a thumbs up handshake, and you bring it from under your chin, not. And you're going to want to shake your head, don't, not, or don't. The next sign is the sign for sleep. You want to start with a 5 hand shape, palm facing your face, and then close your hand, sleep. And usually people will close their eyes too, like this. Apple is an X hand shape, and you want this part of your knuckle right under your cheek, and you twist it back and forth, okay? Apple. All right, sometimes I stick my elbow out so I can show you better, but you don't stick your elbow out for this. Candy now is actually the same back and forth movement that we just did for apple, only it's with a 1 hand shape this way. Water is a W hand shape, palms sideways, and you're going to tap your chin with your first finger. So water. Coffee is 2 S hand shapes, one on top of the other, but you're going to want to have your dominant hand on the top because it will move in circles, right? Coffee. Tea has that same S hand shape on your non-dominant hand, but in your dominant hand, you actually have an F, and you stir it around this way. So that's tea. The next one is milk. And you want, it's an A, yeah, it's an A hand shape. I can't decide sometimes if it's A or 10. It's an A. And you're gonna want to just open and close like that, okay? Milk. Relax your shoulder and your elbow. It's just out here in neutral space in front of you. Orange juice is the sign for orange, which we've learned before, orange, and then you just add a J. Orange juice. Hot chocolate is a compound sign, right? There's 2 different parts of it. So hot is a bent 5, and you start with your palm facing you like your mouth, and then you flip your hand so that your palm orientation goes the other way. Hot, hot, hot. Then chocolate, you want an S hand shape on your non-dominant hand and a C on your dominant hand, and you just do little circles. Hot chocolate, okay? Soda pop, another S hand shape on your non-dominant hand. Your dominant hand this time is going to have an 8 hand shape, and you put it in this way, like just touch it down there, So you start with an 8, then you open it and slap. Soda pop. The next is a sign for drink. You want a C hand shape, like you're holding a cup or a can or something, right? And you put your thumb on your lip and tip it in. Drink. Doesn't really have to be on your lip, I guess. Maybe down more by your chin. Drink. Eat is a squished O hand shape that you put at your mouth. Eat. Music. So music is a flat hand shape on your dominant hand. You're going to actually stick your arm out. You have to stand up. You're going to stick your arm out here like this, and then music. The next sign is a sign for listen. That can be signed this way, or just a C hand shape at your ear, listen, or listen, where you're kind of bringing it into your ear, listen. A 3 where the 2 fingers bounce. Computer. Computer can also be signed 2 ways. So your non-dominant, one way is to have your non-dominant hand with your arm out, palm facing down, and a C that you just push a little bit more each time up to your elbow. Computer. The other way to do it is just tap a C on your forehead. Type. Now, this means to type on a keyboard. If you're talking about a type of animal or a type of flower or something like that, that's different. So avoid transfer error here. This kind of type means just to type on a keyboard. So type. C is a K hand shape. So make sure your thumb is in your middle finger somewhere. And then you have your palm facing behind you, back that way, all right? Touch with your middle finger near your eye, and then bring it straight out. C. C. There are 2 types of classifiers to talk about in this vocabulary list. One is called an instrument classifier. It is abbreviated ICL, instrument classifier. In ASL, this type of sign shows how an object is manipulated. For example, there is a sign for eat, so you could say eat apple, but in ASL, a better way to do it is to use an instrument classifier that shows an apple being eaten, like this. So like you pick up the apple. Right? So that's an instrument classifier. Think about what your hands actually do in real life to manipulate an object like an apple. And that's what an instrument classifier is. The next type to talk about in this vocabulary list is called a body classifier, which is a BCL. It's written that way, BCL. In ASL, a signer can enact the verb of the sentence. In other words, act it out, okay? So when you use a BCL, a body classifier, you have to use role shift, which is kind of like shoulder shift, only you kind of take on a different persona, right? It changes your role as the signer, or like the narrator, to the person in the story. And we'll give this a try a little later on. All right, so the next sign in this list is written, do. So DO-DO question mark. And it means, what do you do? What are you doing? What are you going to do? That kind of a thing. And it can relate to anyone. What I'm doing, what multiple people are doing, doesn't matter. So what you do is you have it's more of a G. Okay, so it's a G hand shape with your fingers sticking up, your palms up, and move up a little bit for you. You bring them together back and forth like this, okay? So that's do. Very important though, it's always a question. So you always have to have your eyebrows down because it's an open-ended question. What are you doing? What are you going to do? What's going on? What did you do? Okay. The next sign is for maybe or possibly or might. You want two flat hand shapes, palms facing up, and you're going to go back and forth. Okay, the movement here comes, I guess, from your shoulders, I think. So you're just coming up and down this way. And if you think about it, that's kind of what we mean when we say maybe. Like, are you going to come to my party tomorrow? Yes, maybe, no. I might not, right? So that's the idea behind maybe or possibly or might. Hungry is a C hand shape touching your chest. Okay, so touching, all right? And then you come straight down. So hungry. Sandwich. Sandwich is a fun sign. So you want two flat hands. Your dominant one will fold in half. Your non-dominant folds in half, but the thumb, see, they're a little bit different hand shapes there. The thumb sticks out on your non-dominant hand. And no, it doesn't. It's underneath. Like you're holding a sandwich, right? Like you're holding a sandwich. And then your dominant hand is just the filling. So you're just going to put it right in there. So two pieces of bread, okay? Sandwich, okay? Sandwich. So from the back, it looks like this. Sandwich. That can be kind of a tough one. Dominant hand, bent in half. Non-dominant hand, like a squished O, but open. Okay, like you're holding a sandwich. So your dominant hand is going to have your palm facing you. You're going to be looking at it. Okay. Hamburger is not going to surprise you. It's two like C hand shapes, but kind of flattened, like open a little more. That's how you make hamburger patties. You take the meat and you do like that. Hamburger. Smell, like it smells good. Dominant hand, flat hand shape, and you just like touch your nose a little. You probably don't really have to touch it, but move it up. Smell. So it goes up and then kind of repeats. Smell. Cookie. Non-dominant hand, flat hand, palm facing up. You want to see on your dominant hand. And if you think of like a cookie cutter and what it does, that's where this comes from. So cookie. So you've rolled out your dough and then you take your cookie cutter and okay, cookie. Kitchen, the English version of that you might see sometimes. It's like cook, only with a K hand shape. That is not used very often, and in your Signing Naturally curriculum, it's much more ASL. In ASL, sign kitchen, cook, room. That's kitchen. Egg is two U hand shapes, palms facing you. Doesn't matter which one is on top because they're both going to do the same motion. That's egg. Plate. Plate is that open 8 hand shape with your palms facing you, and it kind of looks like you're making a circle, right? But your fingers aren't touching. So plate. Also seen it with bent L's, plate. Like that. Plate. Or plate. You can see all my fingers there. Okay. Plate or plate. Delicious. This is a good one. This is our last one for this list. So you start with an 8. you put your palm facing you and you almost touch your lips, or maybe you do. Maybe you touch your lips. Yeah, I do. Right. And then what you do is you're going to like slide like that. Okay. Delicious. Delicious. All right. That is vocabulary from lesson 2-9.